Good evening, everybody. It's your boy Teflon from Paid to Cost Podcast. This episode is all about, the Urban Alliance. Truth twisted for conviction. You may not pick up what I'm putting down, but let's get on. You know, um, you know, knowledge comes with a lesson and sometimes a price. In the heart of Kalamazoo, where the streets talk louder than the officials. The sign of war ways, not with bullets or blades, but with paperwork. Whispers and deals made back in back room. They call it the Urban Alliance. Sounded like something positive, like it was meant to uplift the city. But in truth, it became a weapon, used not to protect, but to trap. I'm Darnell Smith, and this is Paid to Cost Podcast. Let me tell you what really happened. It's the setup. Under the banner of collaboration between local police, federal agencies, and certain community outreach, initiatives, the Urban Alliance, was supposed to bring peace and progress, but instead, it became, a lot of nonsense. People from the neighborhood, mostly young black men, were approached by computer liaison. This wasn't even counselors or mentors. These was informants and people that was on the payroll or working off on their own charges. Man, they approached someone that got probably popped or something, had an old warrant, and they say like, man, we'll make this go away if you can bring us some, a little bigger. And just like that, false stories start false, circulating. Real people was accused of fake crimes. Evidence was there, testimony paid. Motivation, conviction. Numbers. That's all that was. Tell you about this guy named Terrell. He never had a felony. Worked at a plant. Just because he was cousin with somebody from the east side that had a rep, he got caught into a conspiracy. The informant from the Urban Alliance payroll said Terrell was there when a drug deal was planned. But here's the truth. Trail was at work, clocked in. There was time cards and shit and witnesses. But the prosecutor said that wasn't enough to dismiss the testimony of the confidential, reliable source. That man sat for 18 months, until the truth finally surfaced. Lost a job, apartment, lost everything. No one apologized, but the bigger picture was like, they called it justice. But look, what we witnessed was selective prosecution or systemic targeting. People just want to get cases or just not the urban alliance was supposed to be bridging gaps. But they all this false information led to real convictions. Just because a lot of people lied. You know um I know this ain't just Kalamazoo. It's a national tactic, but I'm only speaking on Kalamazoo because this is home. You know, and too many brothers from the north side, east side, even though one Stewart, got caught up into this shit. At Paid the Cost, we're gonna bring the truth. I promise you. Because if you stay quiet, they'll rewrite the story. But not today. At Paid the Cost, won't twist the truth. This is Darnell Smith from Paid the Cost Podcast. Real voices, real stories, no filters. Let's get it.